When I was unhappy, and even now sometimes, I had an issue with making judgments upon others in terms of behaviours or traits and stuff that I just didn't approve of. And this is a massive problem, not just in itself, but also because it relates to another issue I'm trying to sort with myself in terms of full confidence, like that pure confidence to be yourself at all times. And the reason I start with judgment is because from the research I've been doing, I find out that judgment on others is a subconscious reflection on how you feel about yourself. When you judge someone from doing X, then you subconsciously don't feel confident in X in yourself. There's something about yourself that you see in that person that they're displaying that you can't. And this affects confidence because it's almost like when you judge other people for doing these things, you feel like other people judge you for the same things, so you move about your life and you act timidly because you're afraid other people are judging you the same way that you judge them, which is not true. And I've came to the conclusion that there's two sort of reasons that I judge, certainly, and that I think most people judge other people. And the first is that I mentioned is that you see a behaviour trait in somebody else that you don't have in yourself. So something that you envy, we'll call it envy. And then the second point is that you see a behaviour or a characteristic in somebody else that you used to do, or something that you just can't imagine doing. And that's probably the more common judgment, especially for myself. So in terms of going back to the first point, I think the character trait that I judge most about other people that I'm sort of envious of is that confidence. When I see people just fully being confident to express herself, it's probably less so now, but back when I was younger I used to judge people really harshly for this because I was so jealous that they could be really confident and outgoing, and here I was really shy and afraid that people were going to judge me. The second one is something that I'm struggling more with now, and that is when you look at people, you judge them because they're acting a certain way that you used to act, or it's in a certain way that you never thought somebody would act. And this is mostly just due to a lack of compassion, and something that I really want to be able to cultivate is being able to be compassionate at the drop of a hat. I think something that really stands out to me is that a truly wise person wouldn't be making these judgments because they would be a virtuous person. They would not judge others harshly like this. And I think a great quote that sums this up is from Marcus Aurelius, which is, "Be tolerant with others, but strict with yourself." So, I mean, that it just makes so much sense, doesn't it? I mean, to be tolerant of others is to be compassionate. An exercise I've been doing for the last week is to when I instinctually go to judge somebody about something, I think, right, be compassionate. Why do they act like that? Why are they feeling like that? A lot of the stuff obviously you don't know, but you can imagine based on their behaviours and whatnot that they might have come from something, that something might have happened to them. And being able to have that, take that second to try and switch that to compassion, then it makes you, especially if you're someone like me who tends to, so I wake up early and I'm miserable or whatnot, and I just judge people instinctually out of habit, which is a bad habit, then being able to try and switch that into compassion, think, okay, oh, that's actually, that's quite nice to see that, or something like that. It changes your whole sort of outlook on life. And in terms of like when you have that judgment of envy, for myself, when I see someone being really confident being themselves, I think just being able to admire them and just appreciate them being there, that's also to me a form of compassion, is being able to appreciate that person is able to do that and think of it as something impressive rather than being something that you lack in yourself. You just admire it for what it is and see them for what they are doing, which is great. So I think the conclusion to this video is the fact that the only way to be truly confident and to be truly yourself is to practice compassion on a daily basis. And the exercise that I use, so when my habit or my natural instinct is to judge somebody, stop myself and think, be compassionate towards this person. And your life, you feel better about yourself, you don't feel like such a bad person. And I think that's something that I just find really great, really beautiful to carry around every single day. And I think this all starts with compassion for yourself, which is something that I'm glad to say that I am able to practice regularly. And I think in that Marcus Aurelius quote, the be strict with yourself can be misconstrued, but the way I look at it is be strict but not harsh. Like, you keep yourself rigid with your rules, you keep yourself in these sort of structures to help yourself, but you're not harsh when you mess up. If you mess, everyone messes up. You just think, okay, what went wrong? Why did I do that? Okay, it's probably out of a bad habit that I used to have. How can I act on this tomorrow so that that doesn't happen again? And being able to practice that self-compassion leads you to being able to be compassionate towards other people, because like I said earlier, when you judge other people, it's because of something that you see in yourself or you don't see in yourself. So it all comes back to yourself, basically. So have compassion for yourself, which will lead to having compassion to others, and this makes you feel a lot more free. I certainly, when I've made that snap decision, be okay, let's be compassionate, let's not judge, you feel better, you feel free, and you feel like you just gain confidence from that. When you're compassionate about yourself and you're compassionate towards others, you gain that confidence because you're not afraid of being judged, because even if you are, you're compassionate to them and it doesn't hurt you. And even if you judge yourself, you're compassionate afterwards. Like if you embarrass yourself, like you trip up or something, everyone will trip up of it at some point. It's not that deep. So if you be compassionate to yourself, you'll be compassionate to others, and you'll be able to move freely and confidently without that fear of judgment. And that's the main lesson for this video. So if you've been enjoying these videos that I've been doing the last few weeks, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, you know what to do, you've watched YouTube before. Make sure you give this video a like so that I know and the YouTube algorithm knows that it's a popular video, and so it can be circulated more and more people can see this if it's useful to them. Until next week, enjoy your weekend.